So today's poetry, I wanted to go through Inspiration by Henry David Thoreau, also famous for writing Walden. And I'll also go through a quote of his after we read this poem. Whatever we leave to God, God does, and blesses us. The work we choose should be our own, God leaves alone. If with light head erect I sing, though all the muses lend their force, from my poor love of anything, the verse is weak and shallow as its source. But if with bended neck I grope, listening behind me for my wit, with faith superior to hope, more anxious to keep back than forward it, making my soul accomplice there, unto the flame my heart hath lit, then will the verse forever wear. Time cannot bend the line which God hath writ. Always the general show of things floats in review before my mind, and such true love and reverence brings that sometimes I forget that I am blind. But now there comes unsought, unseen, some clear, divine electuary, and I, who had but sensual been, grow sensible, and as God is, am wary. I, hearing yet, who had but ears and sight, who had but eyes before, I, moments live, who lived but years, and truth discern, who knew but learning's lore. I hear beyond the range of sound, I see beyond the range of sight, new earths and skies and seas around, and in my day the sun doth pale his light. A clear and ancient harmony pierces my soul through all its din, as through its utmost melody, farther behind than they, farther within, farther behind than they, farther within. More swift its bolt than lightning is, its voice than thunder is more loud. It doth expand my privacies to all, and leave me single in the crowd. It speaks with such authority, with so serene and lofty tone, that idle time runs gadding by, and leaves me with eternity alone. Now chiefly is my natal hour, and only now my prime of life. Of manhood's strength it is the flower. 'Tis peace's end, and war's beginning strife. It comes in summer's broadest noon, by grey wall, or some chance place, unseasoning time, insulting June, and vexing day with its presuming face. Such fragrance round my couch it makes, more rich than our Arabian drugs, that my soul scents its life, and wakes the body up beneath its perfumed rugs. Such is the muse, the heavenly maid, the star that guides the mortal course, which shows where life's true kernel laid, its wheat's fine flour, and its undying force. She, with one breath, attunes the sphere, and also my poor human heart, with one impulse, propels years around, and gives my throbbing pulse its start. I will not doubt for evermore, nor falter from the steadfast faith. For thought, the system be turned over, God takes not back the word which one hath said. I will not doubt the love untold, which not my worth nor want has bought, which wooed me young and woos me old. Into this evening hath me brought. My memory I'll educate to know the one historic truth, remembering to the latest date the only true and sole immortal youth. Be but thy inspiration given, no matter what through what danger sought, I'll fathom hell or climb to heaven, and yet esteem that cheap which love has bought. Fame cannot tempt the bard who's famous with his God, nor laurel him reward who has his maker's nod. Quite a long poem, and this is now my personal take on it. I actually haven't read this one before, which is quite funny, but just reading through it, it was quite amazing. The way Thoreau explains how there's a lot of how he's experienced a lot of beauty in life, right? A lot of it's almost like a spiritual, I would say, and that's in the most general form, right? Nothing religious per se, just a very like a passion, like a lot of passion for life. Right? There's a lot of passion for life in this poem. Talking about the muses, right? Talking about God. It's more so just expressing how mysterious, right? How awe-inspiring life is. Right? There's so many miracles in life, and as for me personally, this is it's really talking about what the most important thing is, right? So the very end, for example, going through or the last parts, right? The only soul or only true and soul immortal youth, and fathom hell or climb to heaven. All these things, right? At the very last line, fame cannot tempt the bard who's famous with his God, nor laurel him will reward who has his maker's nod. It's about what you're really, what's really passion, what really speaks to you, right? Seeing beyond your own limited vision, right? Hearing beyond your own limited ears. What's the thing that really calls out to you? What's this? The mysteriousness, right? The beauty, the awe of the world itself, right? The thing beyond all things, right? And I think that's what Thoreau is referring to here. Talking about just this reverence, right? The beauty of life, right? Just this deepness, right? This depth in life. And so that's a poem that I really like, even though this is my first time reading it. And I wanted to go through just one more quote by Thoreau. This might be a famous one. It was in the Dead Poets Society. So, I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life. Living is so dear. Nor did I wish to practice resignation unless it was quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to put to rout all that was not life, to cut a broad swathe and shave close, to drive life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms. And with that, I hope all of you can find something very, something that really speaks to your soul. Whatever it is, right? Whatever in life that you find, I hope you will be able to find it.